Hey there, guys. We've got news for Global on March 28th. And to discuss the news this week is once again SXM. So you can go ahead and say hello.
Hey guys, this is your Warden of the Aquapolis and its many salty seas.
And this week you're coming for a dark unit. Although Charlotte's here as well. And we seem to be missing Chaos Bismarck. Now I have to ask you, SXM, because you are more familiar with the lore and all that. So just real quick, kind of jumping ahead a little bit. So Chaos equals Bismarck. Is that really his name in the JP server?
It is. They actually have the equal sign on it. It's a little bit strange.
That is so
Um,
weird.
yeah, so he's our answer, not spoiling too much about the story, but he's our answer as to why we don't have an Esper version of Bismarck. It's because we get a unit version of Bismarck. And it's Chaos Bismarck, and it's this Mind Flare looking guy.
And you said the reason is because we get a unit of him. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not in global, yeah. It seems he's missing from this banner, which is, I want to say it's a shock, but once Iris came out and I saw that he was both, dark magic and water magic, I kind of figured something might happen with Chaos Bismarck.
Mm-hmm. And some people are saying that maybe he might be next week, etc. I will say that based on the data in the game, so people have looked at the Clash of Wills boss data because the boss grants like vertex abilities and all that, and they see ability names for like Fina and all them, and Charlotte, and that was all available last week even. But Bismarck is not on that list, so based on the Clash of Wills skill data, he's also not going to be here next week. So it seems like Bismarck is just going to be missing. So
Yeah, and I'm not much at the gameplay side of things, but isn't this kind of a big nerf to anyone who wants a dark or water team? Because of all of the bigger and pillar perils that he offered, the area effect field, and he had his own leader skill for like chaos bringers. So is that just gone from the game now?
it does seem so because it's kind of funny that we're talking more about the skiff guy than the featured unit. But this is kind of like this is interesting. So yeah, he does have 750 for chaos bringers, or actually Global is naming it Harbingers of Chaos. But yeah, of course, that being said, just speaking honestly here, you really wouldn't make him the leader of the party anyway because you would, mix and match other units that would fall better under different leader skills. But it is a good option. But yeah, speaking of like for his breaking and imperils and all, he was, the highest dark imperiler at 230% total with his field. You could go to 240 if you added in a better field, but you probably wouldn't do that. But yeah, and based on what people were saying, now I didn't calculate it myself, but from what people were saying in Dark Vision's chat, he is a better Dark Vision's Dark Party unit over Elespirus, who is probably the second best option on Global.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a loss. Elespirus, I'm trying to remember. This is like a few weeks ago. This was being discussed. I think she was like within 10% or something as the whole party damage. So it's not that big, but if you're mixing a dark and water party, then yeah, it's probably a lot bigger deal. Mixing the Neo pluses.
Okay.
And it sucks. It sucks. So they skip. I always hate when they skip things, So it seems like he's going to be catered or whatever. Just gone. Have there been any other Neo pluses that we've just straight skipped? Like I'm not talking about like potential delays like Full Metal Alchemist. Is he the second one that's been? No, Rydia too, huh? Rydia. So he's the third.
Well, I don't know if we were supposed to get ready a NV Plus yet.
Oh no, I'm sorry, not plus, just Neo base.
Yeah, like a Neo version. Yeah, I feel like she's still gonna, pop up at some random dead week in the future. Kind of like
Setzer.
what's his name? Setzer did.
Yeah,
So
it's possible. It's possible. But getting to the actual unit, Dark Fina, Esper of Destruction. So talking about this unit, I feel basically I kind of covered a lot of like the actual details of the kit in the Xyrus video because I used her as a comparison point. So basically, the stuff I said about Xyrus, take away the extra Clash of Will perks, and you have Dark Fina Esper of Destruction. But she's dark.
Yep. That's what happens when you copy kits.
Yeah, so this is what Xyrus was, originally sourced from. A lot of people said, he's not a direct copy, he's got all kinds of different skills. Well, yes, she was the source. And just real quick, a damage calculation. So as you can see, she's basically the same as Xyrus, about 5 or 10% higher in Dark Visions. Obviously, in Clash of Will, she'll be way lower because she's not getting global upgrades, so no global scaling. But Dark Visions, she's a tiny bit higher than Xyrus. That's mostly it about the kit itself, though. Is there anything interesting about her? Because I got to be honest here, I've sort of checked out a little bit from the Brave Exvius lore. I was pretty into it for the first 3 seasons, but I've just fallen behind and I'm not keeping up with it. So is she playing like a big part in the Esper of Destruction story, SXM? Because that's definitely, your department.
Oh, yeah. She absolutely plays a huge part, especially going into Chapter 5. I don't want to spoil it too much, just in case everyone's waiting for the end to read it.
It's not actually in the game yet?
She does show up. She's already in it so far, but exactly what her role is kind of gets explained and unravels in Chapter 5.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do think it's a nice little nod that we're getting another Dark Fina in the middle of an Eldarian-themed event, because when we first got our first Dark Fina, she shows up in Eldarian. So it's kind of like a little homage and nod to that, I think.
That's pretty cool. Now, as far as banner format, this is... I don't know. Okay, so real quick, we're gonna again jump around a little bit. They are also running a special vision card banner. So I just wish these two were on the same banner, because we're getting into a special vision card, and the vision card's pretty good. But it's a whole separate banner. Now, it is an armory banner, and it does have new things. Not new. It has some of the older stuff being re-put into the shop. So if you missed things like Limits of Magic, this is probably the most notable one. It's available again. Some of these killers are really good as well. But it's not anything new. It's just reruns of older stuff. But wouldn't this have been like a lot nicer to put, on the Fina step up and entice people to go for her?
Or put it on Xyrus's banner, considering it's his art. I don't know. I can't think of what their decisions are for this. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to be pulling for a dark team or Fina anyway, you would want this card on there. Mm-hmm. Even though it says it's water category.
Yeah, it's a little strange too, huh? Yeah, it's the Dark Fina weak, but she can't even use it to its full potential.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I guess. Maybe that's why then.
Actually, she can't use it at all, actually, because she's not water or Clash of Wills.
Yeah. So this is just like, by the way, Xyrus fans, another thing to pull on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I will say they have finally done it. They've given us a card with 170 base and decent flat magic as well. So this is a really nice card. Now, here's the real thing, though. Is it worth, whatever it is, 28k by itself? Because you're not pulling for Fina when you get this. You're getting, an old rerun. I should have put that in a tab in a different spot. My tabs are all over the place. I did somewhere around here. The Clash of Wills. Where is it? Oh my god. My tabs are so disorganized. Anyway, the Armory. Actually, it's on this page, isn't it? No, it's not. The Armory. The rerun Armory. What do you think, SXM? Is that worth 28k for an old Armory item and this card?
It depends on if you've ever pulled on the Armory banners before. I know I personally haven't. So if there was something that was really good in there and I really love Xyrus, I would do it. Other than that, there's really not much lapis in the game you have to spare on frivolous things.
That is true, because the whole replica lapis and the cut events were missing a lot of monthly lapis and all that. That's true, too. Yeah. Well, for me, it's going to be a pass for me. I will say the card's very, very good. I'd love to have it, but for 28K for an off banner pull, not even on banner for a new unit, it's not enough. Not enough for me.
Right. I agree.
And going back to the other unit for the week, now what is her name on Global? Charlotte Esper of Destruction. Now she's a freebie, and it's kind of being questioned if we were going to get her or not because we skipped a few of the previous freebies. But we're getting her, and it's nice. And she's like, she's a serviceable magic tank. She's okay. She's not on Abigail's tier, but she's usable.
Yeah, those were the exact words that I wanted to use. Like she's very good for what she does, especially for a freebie unit. There's nothing like extremely special about her. Like everyone is still going to be using Abigail in Clash of Wills, but it's a good get for any newbies who happen to be showing up this day and age.
And she's completely free too. All the way to EX3, level 130, all the materials. It's one of those farm 8 stages, get her fragments, etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to get that. It's good to get content. Now, do you think they're giving us this kind of stuff because the community has been asking for it, or because sales are going down, or did they just skip a bunch of stuff weeks and weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, let's just start again for no reason?
No, because I think Charlotte comes along with a grindy event that at least it's something. It's not like 3 weeks of missing content. Like I feel like if they had to give us this event, they had to give us Charlotte too, and maybe they think, like it's a freebie unit. At least they'll be happy about that. Yeah. Oh,
and here's the tab I was looking for. Yeah, so there's the banner. If you want to go on that one, you have too many tabs right here. And then the raid event. So I think the last one was November or something, not counting we did like a rerun raid during Christmas. But other than that, the last new raid was like November. So they're finally coming back. We're excited for raids. I never thought I'd say that on Brave Exvius. Not much more to say about it. It's, you farm it and you get your stuff. It's something to do. That's the thing. It gives you a reason to log in throughout the day, which is something I have not been doing for weeks because there's no reason to whatsoever. You do it once a day for your video summons, you log back out for 24 hours. This at least gives you a reason to open the app, which is good.
And I can't remember if that one's delayed. Did we get that earlier in the JP event?
This raid? I don't remember, honestly. Yeah, it was relatively condensed, like within like 10 days or so. They mostly went through this event, or maybe it was 3 events, so 20 days in total. I don't recall. I think this did come out with Dark Fina though, in JP.
Okay, yeah, then it should be this week then.
Okay. Yeah. And then Chapter 5, Part 1 and 2 have been added. Now, is this like the final chapter of this story, or is there more to come?
Yep, they broke it down into 2 weeks, Part 1 and Part 2 in JP, but it looks like we're getting the full conclusion this update.
Okay. So give me your thoughts on this story event and all that. How was it?
Well, we had Taguchi-san appear on the live stream talking about the story, so out of respect for him, I'm not going to tear into it too much.
Go for it.
I'll say there's quite a few things that I would have written differently, especially with Chapter 5. Once everyone has a chance to read it, I'm sure you can guess what my issues might be. But you also read through this event in JP too, so without spoiling anything, how do you feel about the direction the plot goes from this point forward?
So to be completely honest, I read every single word for the first few summaries. Those huge summaries, and you even saw the video that I made going over the first summary. And then as it went on, I was reading them, but it was more like I was very briefly skimming them, and I didn't really closely follow the ending of it. It's certainly not you. Your summaries were absolutely amazing. It's just like I don't know, like, I'm a little bit like over the lore in Brave Exvius. Like, Vlad shows up for the 32nd time.
Yeah.
It's like,
So you're kind of, I wouldn't say spoiling, but hinting at what my issue is. If you see the thumbnail art of Chapter 5, Part 2, that is my exact issue that I have with the end of the story event.
Okay, so this is not going to be a spoiler because I literally don't remember and didn't read the very finale. But I'm just going to assume, based on the art right here in the news, that they do the same thing they did with the Dark Reign event, where, like, the Deus Ex Machina or whatever, and all of a sudden someone calls the god hero and Reign and last will save the day out of nowhere. I'm guessing there's probably some scene where the whole party's laid out on the ground and then lights flash. And I swear to you, I do not remember if this really happens, but I've seen it five or 10 times already in Brave Exvius. It happens every single time. The whole party's spread out. Everyone's dead. Everyone's like, God. And then all of a sudden, one person jumps up, and they use a super attack, and the whole big bad guy's dead. Am I close?
You're very close.
Oh my God, I figured. Yeah. I figured.
It's just like, this whole event, it was so fascinating when it came out. It looked like it would be such a great story. And then the end of it it's just like mashed potatoes from the last previous anniversary events. It was so disappointing. I have so many issues with it, but I'm not going to be negative.
Okay. Yeah. You're actually making me going to not use the skip button for these last chapters. I'm going to have to say it. I'm going to have to say if I was right.
Yeah, just for the facepalm. Yeah, go for it.
All right. And then something I'm very surprised at. Now, this is something I figured we were going to be super skipping, is the Depths of Chaos. So this is basically like a bunch of boss rushes. So real quick, we're going to go to the wiki page. This is lots and lots of boss. I think this is the first time we're ever seeing the Dark AT or whatever her name is on Global, the sprite. We've skipped all the previous ones, right?
I believe so. I'm not quite sure on the bosses.
Mm-hmm. And so we get that. It's like 8 different bosses. I've got a video in JP of doing them, and it was relatively tricky to get these in the with the missions. Let's pop back to the top of the wiki. There's like a lot of special missions, and I'm hoping Global hasn't nerfed these or taken these away, because they do that sometimes. But some of these missions, like clear it with Rebellion, with Evocation, let's see, like clear it with FFB only, clear it with Chaos Bringers, Royal Flag, etc. And some of these, at least on JP, they gave me some headaches trying to get some of these parties, because I didn't have all the proper parties. I think the Gathering was my hardest one on JP.
Does that say Chaos Bringer? How are we going to do that one?
That they actually are bringing. So we can skip right here real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, they're adding the category. They're just not adding the leader.
Wow. Okay.
Oh! Solitary Warrior Veritas of the Frost is on there. That's going to help quite a bit. He's obviously very strong, so that'll be good. But yeah, so it's like a boss rush, and it's it's not super hard, especially with global units. Like if you're getting things like Veritas and all on the party, it's gonna be a lot easier. But it's content, and I'm loving that we're getting that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm happy for you.
Mm-hmm. And the only thing, other than the Bismarck unit, that it seems we were missing is the awakening or upgrade. Not awakening. That came later. But the upgrades for Deoxys. He got crowns during this event, and I guess we're not getting them because Global... That is one thing Global seems to be adamant about, is we are no longer getting crowns for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty annoying. And then I guess the last thing is, you don't care about the leader skills, but like I said, we're getting the Harbinger of Chaos category. But this is a big one, so this is like overdue for months or whatever. They're changing the elemental empower things to, instead of being a ramping 60, 80, 100, they're going to be a flat 100 for 3 turns. So that's, nice. JP did that, like I said, a long time ago. Global skipped over it. Now we're finally getting it late. I wonder if that's going to include the global ones. Do you think so? Probably not, huh?
You could be optimistic and maybe hope so. I don't know.
I
I'm not
hope.
sure.
I hope. So that'd be like Sylvie, Malphase. There's a bunch of them actually. Melissa.
Right.
Um, but they're not listed. This is just listed in the JP. This is probably gonna be just the JP ones, I guess. Which is fine. It's expected. Uh, but yeah. So I mean, it's a pretty good week. Pretty good week of content, at least. Finally, something to do. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah. So I will get my final bit of salt out there if you don't mind. If you
Yeah,
want to
go
go
for
back to the freebie Charlotte that we're getting.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Right here.
don't you think there's any sort of character in the storyline that, might have had higher billing than Charlotte for an Oldarian event?
Oh, sure. I've mentioned it before, and when people in my videos, when I mentioned Luca, SXM is definitely the source of the Luca stuff. But it's totally valid. It's completely valid. Charlotte's got like 4 or 5 different versions of units. Luca's got the 1 4-star, and that's it. And she plays a part in the story too, right?
She plays a big part in it, yeah. So, like, if you go through the Esper of Destruction tag characters for at least the JP server right now, you could go through every character. It says Envy, Envy, Envy plus, Envy, Envy, and Luca's just like, she's the only 4-star on that list, and they didn't do anything with her. It is, it makes me feel so bad, Sindar. You have no idea.
There we go. We're right here. I'm looking at it now.
Yep. Tell me who the outlier is.
One person doesn't belong in this group.
One person doesn't belong. So I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was Alam's fault or Gumi or Square or whatever. But whoever is responsible, shame on you. Luca deserves so much better.
It's crazy. Well, okay. So, do you think this is coincidence that last week the Vision card art was chosen as Luca, or do you think like the global team is like lurking in the Discord and they always see all the Luca discussion and someone like passed that up the chain and said, "Give us, throw us a bone for Luca"?
I have no idea.
Even though it was just reused, but still.
It was 5-year-old artwork. It's nothing for me to be happy about. No offense. Like, I know they tried, but I am such a Luca simp that I did log in and pull the card anyway. So maybe shame on me for that. But I don't know. Just throwing her old artwork on a Glex unit that arguably should have been her. It did me no favors. Like, I understand she's water support and they want to sell Sophie, but this whole thing just felt so mean. Like, I don't know. Like, it felt like I lost my one chance to ever see her relevant in the gameplay again. Like, we know how old the game is, so I don't know. I feel like that whole Esper of Destruction event was just, pure torture for me because I've been waiting literal years for her Envy. But not that I'm that salty about it. I'm fine. This is fine.
For sure. No, I mean, I totally get it because for me it's the same way with Bart's. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I tried not to be overly negative, but I was legitimately upset when they skipped Bart's upgrades because he had that one Dark Visions where he would have been one of the top picks for that one fight. He had his one moment, and now it's past. So even if they give Bart's upgrades like next week, it's too late. It's too late. It doesn't matter anymore. So I had that one moment to use him, and I couldn't.
Yeah. So it's like, it must be tough. Like, they want to do what's best for the game and whatever. But when you start messing with, like, people's comfort characters or favorite characters, then things get a little bit personal sometimes. Mm-hmm. I get it. I wish Bart's got updated because I know not just you, but there's a lot of fans on the Discord who were really looking forward to his upgrades. Oh. So it sucks when that happens.
For sure.
Yeah.
But all right. I guess that's pretty much it for the week. Even though the news video wasn't super long, we do have some content. So definitely an improvement over the last 2 weeks where we had Clash of Wills, which was nice and all, but we need more. We're getting more this week. other than the crown stages, which disappointing, but whatever. All right, thanks again for joining SXM.
No problem. I hope I made sense at 4 in the morning.
Definitely, definitely. All right, see you guys next time.
All right, bye.